to definitely dissect top trending stories, things happening within our country, things happening relating to governance, health, education, business, and many, money, more and well-informed intrusion analysis. Today, yes, we'll head to Abuja, where Wike and Fubara definitely are tying the feud. Siminalayi Fubara, who is suspended the governor of River State, has paid a solemn visit to Nyesom Wike, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, at his Abuja residence, ostensibly to plead for forgiveness and reconciliation. Also, a spotlight today, we talk about the labor demands. Yes, the Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, has called for the upward review of the retirement age for all the categories of civil servants. Ladies and gents, yes, I am ready. I hope you're ready. My name is Michael Ian. All right, yes, it was May Day yesterday. Well, workers all over the country, even all over the world, celebrated Workers' Day. And yes, while celebrating in Abuja, NLC President Joe Ajaero made the demand at the May Day celebration in Eagles Square in Abuja. It says, as it is right now, what the demands they want is the fact that the push for a tax cut, pension overhaul, and also 65 years retirement age. Well, a lot of questions have been made. A lot of thoughts have been put in place in all of this conversation. NLC said this is part of demands put forward by both the President of the Nigeria Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress, Comrade Joe Ajaero and Festus Osifo. Well, they asked President Tinubu to immediately reverse what they describe as the unconstitutional suspension of the elected government of River State. That's one. Via the state of emergency, that's one. They also urged the federal government to cease actions that erode the civic space and deepen it for the sake of the nation. That's two. They also urged the federal government to end what it's called the genocide killings and bloodletting across the country. That's three. Also, the organized labor has taxed on the tax bill before the National Assembly. They said the withdrawal of the tax bill to allow Nigerian workers to sit at the table where it is being conceived. Furthermore, the organized labor also demand an immediate salary adjustment that is commensurate to the current economic realities in the country. Well, on the hike also in telecommunication tariff, the labor has also demanded an immediate reduction from 50% to 35%. And lastly, other demands by the labor are immediate payment of all outstanding allowances, pensions, and gratuities across the nation, restoration of gratuity payment, upward review of retirement age from 60 to 65, automatic adjustment of pensions to reflect inflationary trends. All of this are the NLC demand on May Day. That's the Workers' Day. Ladies and gentlemen, joining me live in the studio here to put more light and to dissect this demand by the NLC is no other person than a lawyer, a public affairs commentator, and a university lecturer. Here, Barrister Deji Olale. Barrister, good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning. Nice to be here again.
How are you doing this morning?
Great.
Well, it was a Workers' Day yesterday. Yes. I'm sure you all had your rest as a lecturer and also.
Yes, we just came out of the holidays.
We also have in the studio a broadcast journalist and also a public affairs analyst. We have another person, Mr. Taiwo Olakbode. Mr. Taiwo, good morning and welcome.
Good morning, and thank you so much for having me.
How you doing? Workers' Day yesterday. I'm sure you had a lot of rest.
Well, I did.
Well, sometimes as a journalist,
we are always on duty.
Always on duty, you know.
There's no off, whatever, for members of our profession.
It's even the best time for them to work.
Exactly.
Because labor is on the move.
Yeah, exactly. All right, now let's go to the business of the day. Labour have made their demands. Barrister, which of those demands caught your attention?
Almost all of them are very important at this time. And it's interesting that Labour is waking up after a long sleep. And we are expecting that this time they won't chicken out the way they did.
Are you sure
before.
they are waking up? Or it's just because of
well, we expect that they should be more dynamic in the push for some of these recommendations, some of these demands that they are placing before government. Because government is highly insensitive to the plight of the Nigerian workers. And the only thing that can compel government is labor's cohesiveness. And once labor is stitched on what they want, there's nothing the government can do. We have a government that is insensitive, highly indifferent to whatever anybody says and whatever is happening in the country. And when you have a government that is that reckless and careless, you need a labor that can stand and withstand it.
And Oshomo labor.
Yes.
Oshomole labor.
Well, I wouldn't say Oshomole tried, but even at that time, it appears as if the same tactics that Oshomole was using is the same tactics that Ajero is now using. You know, Oshomole also raised up Ajero. Some people have said that maybe that is even the reason why Ajero is not frontlining going after the government and the issues of labor. This fight and run away, call a strike, call it off after 2 days.
Run away in a way.
Well, we kept on doing that all through. You know, declare protest on Thursday. By Friday, the strike is off, or by Saturday morning, and all of that. And we never really got to do anything, but it was continuous. At least the persistence of it then, you know, created a kind of awareness and carefulness in the government. You know, the government didn't want that distraction. To them, it was a distraction. They didn't want it. So they had to accede to some of the demands of Oshomole at that time. But the same Oshomole, you and I know what he has done to now. But leaving that for the president.
I don't know what he has done to.
Well, you and I know. All Nigerians, just take your sample. Ask Nigerians about what they feel about Oshomole. And unfortunately, Ajero was one of the prodigies of Oshomole. In fact, some people have said that that's why he's not even forceful about some of his demand, that there is an overbearing influence of Oshomole on him. So that's why it appears as if he doesn't want to rock the boat of his former Oga's government, which is the APC government. So, but having said that, it looks as if Labour is waking up again. Of course, almost all the demand placed before government, none of them had been implemented. You know, it's just promises and engagement and all of that. You know, but no concrete action had been taken by the federal government of Tinubu, President Tinubu, to address the problem of the Nigerian workers, the welfare of the Nigerian people, the rising tide of inflation, you know, the low real wage that you are paying, and even the implementation of the minimum wage is not in place. It's not being implemented. You know, and all you hear is all your governors responsible and all of that, which to me is just nothing. It's just a rhetorics trying to shift the body and all of that. So I think Labour has come out to place this demand, and I think they are forceful this time so that we can get this nation to move forward. Almost all those demands are very important and necessary at this time.
Anyway, Lagos, you heard that. A barrister had said, let's even ask Lagosians what they think about Oshomole. I love that challenge. I mean, sometimes we need to just challenge ourselves to know what differences the NLC has made from the days of Oshomole and down to the days of Joe Ajero. Yes, you can call in. Let's open the phone lines. 0903 714 2798 0903 714 2798. or the other lines 0705 690 0927. 0705 690 0927. You can also send a message via WhatsApp on that same number 0705 690 0927. All right, let's come to Mr. Taiwo. Right, yeah. Okay. The President Tinubu was represented yesterday. It wasn't at the Eagle Square, but he had reaffirmed devotion to workers' welfare. He has said this is a renewed hope agenda, but with the way the agenda is going right now, where it seems to be like the main focus is about politics, is about, bringing the PDP to the APC and trying to find bilateral resolution with other countries. Do you think the position of welfare to workers in Nigeria is possible from the president?
Well, thank you very much. Mr. President, and that May Day rally was represented by the Minister for Labour, Mohammed Nagyari, and he spoke. He articulated points on behalf of Mr. President. But like we do say in this part of the world, we need to practice what we preach, because whether we like it or not, talk is cheap. Anybody can say anything. But it's not until what you have said, we see it in practice. That's when Nigerian can really know that you meant.
Okay. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Please turn down the volume on your radio set so we can have a better communication.
Hello, about the labor.
Good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
They pay 40,000.
What is your name? Where are you calling from? Hello.
The people are not happy at all. The government is tired everybody. Okay, we don't enjoy anything at all. They promise and pay. I'm saying it's very bad. I don't do something. You know the governor, they do better, many things. Yeah? Please do something. Let's pick up our market. See about Buhari, other people. Let's do better for us. People are not happy. People are salary. It's very cost. I bet. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Though we've requested for your name. Thank you very much there. Well, we're asking, just like the barrister's challenge, let's throw this challenge. We're asking the days of Oshomole during when he was the president of NLC, and the days of this day, because he is a current chairman of NLC, the Nigeria. That's Joe Ajaero, president, of NLC Nigeria. Okay, yes, so the challenge is 0903 714 2798. 0903 714 2798 or 0705 690 0927. Well, Mr. Taiwo, you were trying to round up your.
Okay, I was just making a comment as regards Nigerians, particularly our political leaders. They are very good at making statements, which ordinarily are expected from Nigerians, irrespective of the challenges that we are faced with. We are fond of, just being an orator, rhetorical statements, always like the same line of sentence as if it has been pragmatically, designed. We will do this. You should be talking about this is what we have done. We are very fond of saying we will. A government that has 4 years, to spend, will even be talking at 3 years of that government. We will. No. That is unacceptable. So coming back to the 20 demands by the labor union, NLC and TUC, I think the demand is a welcome development. And like Barrister has said, we want to see labor because many Nigerians have also lost hope in this leadership of the labor union by Comrade Joe Ajaero. We had labor. When labor was when the late Pa Imodu, the late Pascal Bafiawo, even Oshiomhole that we are talking about, Asan Sumonu. Those are the real labor leaders, selfless labor leaders. Even Oshiomhole, to many Nigerians, not until now crossed to the side of the of the politics, became a politician, full politicians. People can still say that when he was in charge, labor was labor. Even Ayuba Waba, who came before, after Oshiomhole, now before Joe Ajaero, they had some little reputation, so to say.
Was not,
it was not frontally per se, but he still has some credit.
Some will not even call him a comrade.
Ayuba Wabas, he still has some credit.
He had a silent way of doing it.
And he achieved a lot. But we see Ajaero as somebody who is eager, who is very ready. But just like Barrister said, you will call a strike for Thursday, by Wednesday night, you say strike is no more. Even by Thursday morning, you say, we have seen that over time. And people look at him as if, are you really ready for this battle, or you just want to take Nigerian workers for a ride? So coming back to the demands of the labor, I think those that stood out for me, number one, include the new minimum wage of 70,000 naira. According to labor, which we all know, that even the money before being paid has been eroded by inflation, by skyrocketing crisis of food items in the country. And Barrister says something which I disagree with. As regards, we can't blame the president or the federal government now for states that are yet to implement, because most of the states of the federation are getting almost 3 times what they were getting under the Buhari government. So we should hold these people accountable. It's only the federal government, the federal workers that are yet to be enrolled on the new minimum wage, or that are yet to benefit. They can say, oh, Tinubu, you have not fulfilled the promise of signing that bill into law. But for states, we are practicing federalism. So federal government cannot hold state responsible. Or do we expect federal government to now hold back the allocation to states that are yet to implement the new minimum wage? It is we in Nigeria that we also say, no, you can't do that, because we are operating a federation. But it's quite unfortunate that up to close to about 20 states, by my last record, are yet to implement 70,000 naira minimum wage. What they have just done is just had maybe 10,000, 5,000, 20,000, not the minimum wage as signed into law by Mr. President.
I was about to ask. I said, I know you visit the market a lot, and because of this,
everybody visits the market.
No, I know. I mean, Mr. Taiwo. And I know I answered the question to him. He goes in bulk.
I'm not sure I know about that.
So, I mean, how has it been? How's the inflation affecting the market drive right there? Things have really skyrocketed a lot. How's the market situation?
Well, sincerely, when you are talking about food prices or food index, it's not looking good. And that's the reality. At the point it will come down, maybe after 2 or 3 days, it will just say, and you'll be wondering what exactly is going on. And the reason sometimes is also not far-fetched, because of insecurity, where we have the food basket of the nation, almost turning to the blood basket of the nation now, which is Benue State. We know most of the food that we consume in this part of the country comes from the north. How many of these food items do we produce down here in the south? Most of them comes from the north, and we know the insecurity, the high level of insecurity challenges in the north now, particularly Benue, Plateau, Taraba, Sokoto, and Nasarawa. Most farmers can no longer access their farmlands. They can't go to the farms. Even the crops that they cultivated, that they should be harvesting now, they dare not go to the farms. So it's not how do they say? It's not rocket science that we are facing this high level of food inflation in the country, because the food is not available as they used to be. So the little that are available, the price will go up for the farmers to also make a return. talking about the logistics, bringing them from the north down to here, what they face on the road, the custom, the police, all sort of tax,
fuel.
The cost of fuel again. So it's an holistic problems that we are
the
facing.
The product itself might not be as expensive as that, but due to
other factors,
logistics,
logistics, like you said, on the road and all that. That's what it's just like this car too that we say it is now as expensive as it is right now. Sometimes when you see the cost of the car itself,
abroad,
it's
not that expensive, but the custom duty to clear it, to bring it, and
Well, Nigeria will get better by the day. We just pray, we keep praying that things get better in our dear country. Yes, don't forget.
While we pray, we should also act. It's not enough to, you see, most time Nigerians, we have this attitude that let's pray that God has done so much for this country.
But our hands.
People deliberately don't want others to enjoy the wealth of this nation, the welfare of this country.
Who are these people?
The government, the people in government, they are politicians. They don't look. Nigeria is not a difficult country if you give them the least, opportunity for them to thrive. Give them the least opportunity to do business. Give them opportunity to live their lives, on a minimum basis. Nigerians are not asking for too much.
But I've been willing to ask, can we do what is being done in South Korea, in China, where if a politician or someone in government is being caught with corrupt practices, I mean,
yes.
how it ends. Is that possible in Nigeria?
Yeah, we are supposed to have Sharia. Sharia should have helped us, but unfortunately,
is that Sharia?
We expect that by now, many of their hands should have been cut, and their legs. Some of these corrupt politicians, maybe we should implement Sharia fully, so that some of them, their hands can be cut.
It's also not.
Sharia is not only for politicians.
That's what I'm saying. Politicians, public servants, all those who are stealing money, all those who are
members of the public too. Are they not affected by Sharia?
Yeah, of course. Let them also have their hands cut.
I just wanted to add that it is also very deliberate that most of the laws that are passed by the National Assembly and signed into law are those of peculiar interest to some of our politicians. Imagine the gale of defections that we are witnessing now from other political, particularly PDP to APC. Ordinarily, on the moral ground, if you are elected on the platform of the APC,
that is what you should.
And you decided to say, I want to jump the gun. You should resign. And if indeed you are popular, you should recontest that position. But what does the law say? The law says, because if there is a crisis which is national, you can see the mentality of our politicians. And they know quite all right that there is nowhere you have a human society, human union that there won't be crisis. Even in our family, in our homes, even our homes, we have crisis. And they also deliberately create crisis to give them the leeway to jump from one party to the other. How come that since the return of democratic rule, 26 years of broken that we have done now, how come that none of our member of National Assembly deem it free to say, okay, let's the bill I'm sponsoring is the bill that if any of the politician is found to be corrupt and taken to court and is found guilty, he should spend the rest of his life in jail. How come we have not seen that? And they can easily say that maybe other members of the public, how come that none of them has deemed it free to say, okay, if you are jumping from one party to the other, you must categorically lose that seat, because that means you have betrayed the trust, the mandate of the people that queue out in the run, in the rain, in the sun. You have taken their mandate to another political party. But because they know their nature, that they will never belong to one party, and it's because of their political convenience. That's why they jump from APC to PDP, and that's why I'm also not surprised that what's his name? Senator Ifeanyi Okowa, former governor of Delta State, was quick to also give it back to Bukola Saraki and Atiku Abubakar that if we're talking about condemning him for defecting to APC, that they've also done more. They've done worse. That they're even the boss of defection. So you can see they do all this for their own personal gain and personal interest. So I'm just looking for the day when a member of House of Rep or Senate will sponsor that bill that says if you decamp to another party, you lose your seat.
I want to ask you a question. Will you want to poison yourself?
And that's exactly what we are saying.
That's
exactly what.
No, use an axe on yourself.
No, but I won't want to do that. And that's the nature of our politicians.
What you have said is the proper thing we should do, but they will not do it. If Nigerian people sponsor such a bill,
they will kill it.
But I'll blame the judiciary for that. I mean, if the judiciary
has not helped us. That is the problem. You have just hit the problem on the head.
Probably they will have the politicians will have said.
If the judiciary has interpreted the constitution literally the way the constitution says it, many of them will not be holding their seat. But unfortunately, you can see what happened with the latest decision of the Supreme Court on those who defected in Rivers State. You know, where the Supreme Court is now imputing into the law what does not exist in the law. The law says once you defect, you lose your seat. The Supreme Court is now saying until they get a party card. Where is it written in the Constitution that they must get a party card of the other party before they can deem to have been defected? When they made an affidavit that we are no longer a member of that party,
and there are records to show for that.
Yes, even videotapes.
We're not. It's a large, broad conversation talking about this. Sometimes when you had to put politicians into conversation, it gets wide and broader day by day. But let's still come back to workers'
the labor demand.
Yes, let's come back to labor conversation. Yeah, let me tell you that one of the things that labor is fighting for is the retirement age. Yes, moving from 60 to 65. Let me take you down the lay line that in other countries over the world, for example, Argentina, 65 years is the retirement age. In Australia, 67 years. In Belgium, it's 65 years, 60 to 65. In also in Austria is 65 years. In Britain, the British is 65 years. In Canada, is 65 years. In China, it's 63 years. Sometimes it could be 55 to 58, depending on how entry is. That's in China. And then in Cyprus, it's 65 years. In Egypt, African country, is 60 years. In France, is 67 years. In Germany, is 67 years. In Hong Kong, is 65 years. And the likes of Italy, 67. Libya is 65 years in Libya. Also in Mexico, 65 years. Let's look at African countries. Morocco, 63 years in Morocco. So all of these countries who will say developed, are looking forward to, more of this ages, right? Still being their system, 67 years, 65 years. But here we have 60 years. We're saying just go find one place to sit. What do you think, Barrister?
Well, I think it's the best practice now to allow those who are experienced to handle most corporate structures and even the government, to ensure that there is a consistency of people with experience in governance. And that's what advised the 65, 67 years in most advanced countries. I don't know why we came up with that 60 years in Nigeria. There's nothing really wrong in people retiring at 65. For the profession that I belong to, the older the better, like the legal profession. All right. If you go to the US, you have judges who are already 82, 87, still on the bench, still delivering judgment. And some of their judgment, 130 pages of judgment, solid judgment, with hard work, and all of that, with dexterity and a lot of experience, a high measure of experience. So there's nothing really wrong in moving it to 65. And I think we should consider that. That should not be a matter for debate. Because already the judges have been allowed to up to 65 years, even though there is even a mooting to move it to 70 now.
So if the judges can be allowed to 65, how about the people?
So that's the question. That's why there is nothing really wrong with having a uniform age for retirement in Nigeria at 65. Or even the professors are agitating to move theirs also to 70. And there is every likelihood that government is working on that to ensure that that is done. So if you are going to do that for some section of the country, or some section of profession, why not the generality of Nigerians to also enjoy the same benefit? I think that's my view about that. There's nothing really wrong about it. But if you look at even governance, the people that are against these 65 years, they are majorly people who are holding office who have even exceeded those years. If you go to the Senate, the president is over 65. The president of the Senate is over 65. The Speaker of the House is over 65. So the Inspector General, all these men, some of these people, they are already beyond that age and they are still holding public office. So why do you have to now insist that others should be 60 years, in their place of employment before they leave? I think that should be dealt with.
There is a mentality that if these people don't go, a fresh brain, fresh heads won't come in.
Exactly what my point of view will be on this matter. I know the reason why NLs, I'm not speaking for them per se, could have decided that it should be part of our 20-point demand from the federal government to increase either from 35 to 40 in service or from 60 to 65 attainment of age, It's because of the fact that when most of these people now leave, the civil service, their entitlements are not paid as and when due. Their gratuity, the issue of
it takes years.
Come and do verification. We have seen cases of people dying
finger,
on
oracle,
so
kind of thing.
I think that's.
I remember my dad took 2 years after retirement before.
He's lucky.
You can imagine.
He's
Some
very
people
lucky,
10 years,
fortunate.
they're still doing verification. So that's the reason why I think NLC is canvassing that they should increase. However, just like you also pointed out, if some people doesn't exceed the service, how do we get fresh brain into the service? And on that note, the best we can do in this regard is also for government to create more conducive environment to develop the SMEs. In most developed societies of the world, the US, the UK, Canada, Germany, all Dubai of this world, it's because their private sector is thriving. And that's the reason why how much of job opportunity can government create? Our civil service structure put together, both federal, 36 state, and the FCT, I'm not sure they employed up to about 10 million Nigerians, and we are well over 200 million. So the remaining of us who employ us. So that's why the private sector is the engine room of any economy that really want to aspire growth and development. So if government can focus more in ensuring that the ease of doing business is well prioritized and all this multiple taxation becomes eliminated, definitely you and I can create job and employ one Nigeria, employ 2 Nigerians, and we know the multiplier effect will surely be seen in our economic development.
All right.
Yes, I want to contribute to what my good brother have just said very poignantly. The point he had made. Now, the first thing is, Nigeria, they need to create capacity for Nigerians to invest and to do business if we are going to grow the economy. And what that requires, number one, the interest rate must go down. I don't know why in an economy like this that need reflation, why the CBN will still be maintaining a monetary policy of a high interest rate in an economy of this nature. Because the cost of getting funds to do business is very high. There's no business you are going to do with the interest rate that the CBN is operating or implementing at this time. Nobody can do business in Nigeria with it. Then secondly, there should be a line of credit to Nigerians who wants to start a startup, who wants to create new jobs, new business opportunities, so that we can expand the economic base, so that we can make new money. Nigeria can expand its private sector. What we have now is our private sector, the height of our private sector is controlled by multinationals, by foreigners, and what they do is repatriate the funds, the profit out of the country. Nigeria is dying gradually because of this, what you call these foreign investors. And which areas are they investing? They are not areas that will have economic or industrial effect on the country. Most of them are trading, marketing, foodstuff, gala, all these kind of things that people drinks, Coca-Cola. Those are not the things that Nigeria. We need manufacturing industries. Okay,
textile industry.
Yes, that can create jobs, that can create employment for Nigerians. So when government is negotiating BIT, bilateral trade agreement. Those are the things they should call for, not marketing companies, not supply chain. I'm not saying those things are not good, but they don't have any serious impact on the economy of a nation.
All right, Lagos, you heard it there, and that's talking about labor demands right here on Spotlight on Super FM 92.7. Don't forget, you can call and be part of the conversation right here, 0903 714 2798. 0903 714 2798. Or the other lines on the 0705 690 0927. 0705 690 0927. Or you can also send my WhatsApp message via that line. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning. What's the name and where you're calling from? Good morning. All right. Calling from Ondo. Orile. Okay, please make your comment.
Hello?
Make your comment. Go ahead.
Hello?
We can hear you. Go ahead, please. Hello? Okay, you can call the other line, 0903 714 2798. 0903 714 2798. Or call this line, 0802 502 7711. 0802 502 7711. Yeah, okay, now we need to move to the other conversation, and that's we're heading to Abuja. Yes, the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, where the suspended governor of River State, Sim Fubara, paid a solemn visit to the FCT Minister, Nyesom Wike. Yes, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory in his residence to plead for forgiveness and reconciliation. Well, the meeting occurred a few days after Fubara's meeting with the President Tinubu in London over the river's political crisis. Some will say that the President has said, well, go and reconcile with your predecessor, go and reconcile with your friend, or whichever way the statement will drive. But all of this, well, during the visit to Wike's residence, it was said that those who are accompanying Siminalayi Fubara to Wike's residence is the governor of Ogun State, Dakwa Abiodun, the former governor of Ogun State also, Olusegun Oshoba, and also the governor of Ebonyi State, Nwe Furu. All of this, let me come to Mr. Taiwo. When you got this information, when you got this news, what came to your mind? Is it now a kind of Babasale politics where, well, you just have to go honor, just like the Bible says, honor your father and your mother. Let's go to the phone lines and we'll come to this. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning and welcome to the show. What's your name? Where are you coming from?
Yeah, this is Chidozie calling from Orile.
All right, Chimezie, please, can you just turn down the volume on your radio set so we can hear you?
Chidozie.
Okay, Chidozie, please turn. Okay, go ahead now. We can hear you properly.
Yeah, I want to quickly dip into Wike and Fubara.
Go ahead.
Yeah, personally, on my own opinion, Fubara is a kind of, I don't know. You cannot fight the finger that fed you. You can't. That's just what I want to say. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. You can't fight the finger that fed you. Mr. Taiwo.
Well, this news doesn't come to me as a surprise because it's exactly what we have been discussing. The set of politicians that we have, the crop set of politicians that we have at the moment, they are for their own selfish personal interest. And that is why it's so convenient for them. They don't even think about the consequence for them to jump ship, moving from one party to another. If former Vice President Alhaji Atiku Abubakar can move like twice back and forth from PDP, APC back to PDP and PDP, you know.
Now,
so who else cannot move? Former Senate President, former Governor of Kwara State, former Senate President Saraki also at the points, even at that level. So what can you now say that Fubara has done that will not be a surprise to me? It doesn't come to me as a surprise. He's also fighting for his own liberty, for his own future, and that is why for me it looks like he has betrayed the trust of the people of Rivers State. But it now depends on which point of view do you want to really look at it, because he's also fighting for his own survival, whether they like it or not. And that's why we play more of personal politics in Nigeria instead of us to have a very strong viral institution. Rather, we are just building politicians, building personalities. And that's why somebody can sit down in Abuja or in the FCT and people will now move from Rivers, from Ogun, from Delta and elsewhere to go and pay homage, to go and say, to go and beg. Beg for what? So it's quite unfortunate. But sincerely, I'm not surprised by the step that Fubara has made, has taken, because he started with the meeting with the president during his working visit in London. So, and you remember that government Tompolo has been saying it severally that Fubara, that the state of emergency will soon be lifted, that Fubara will soon be back. So it's just to buttress the point that what the president told him at that meeting is what the man is doing.
Anyway, let's listen to the voice.
Yeah, I have something to say.
Okay.
But maybe when
All
you...
right, let's listen to the voice of Wike. Before, during the feud, before Fubara went on this reconciliation visit.
When a prodigal son comes back and pleads and says, forgive me, I've made a mistake. I want us to move forward. You are human. You are human. But in sincerity, let me tell you, two governors under APC, Michigan, with an influential person from outside the state, two governors from came to talk to me. And I said, look, I'm not the governor. I'm not city minister. There was a gang up against me here. And I knew there was a gang up. I had to put some structures on ground to see that there's peace. That I do my work. I don't need to allow enemies to capitalize on one or two things. Who will suffer is the administration of the president, who has confidence and put me in this place. So I don't need to begin to give the excuse. You are a governor. You have a problem. That's why I said governance is not only restricted to award of contract and commission of project. It takes beyond that.
If Fubara goes in today, will you pick his call?
These two, I said these two governors came to me. And I said, look, I'm here for peace. What does he want? What does he want? And they said, look, we'll do everything to make it. I said, in sincerity, if anybody comes here, they say, look, you want it, but it must be in sincerity. Let me tell you, I've been in this system, I've been in government. I know game politicians play. Politicians buy time. The best opportunity was when President intervened. The day President intervened, the assembly people went immediately. I would do the impeachment notice. You heard what happened. Some elders came up. President has no power. What did he was political? They went to court. They went to court. A lot of suits were instigated. Where did it lead us to now? Who is on suspension? Is it me? I mean, you must use wisdom. If who president of a country called you, whether he was right or he was wrong, at least at that level, that's okay. Let me stomach. Let me listen to him. And you play your own part. Let the other not play their own part. Mr. President has played his part. People are saying, look, do you understand what it takes? For 16 months, you seize people's salary. They don't pay their children's school fees. Most of us are just talking. Do you know what it takes? Let me ask all of you here. That your children are at home. Why? There's no money to pay their school fees. Why? Somebody has stopped my salary for 16 good months. So, and nobody appears to take that into consideration. So, the pains and
Well, Barrister, you had the voice of Wike there when he was having his media chat right there in Abuja. And I'm sure you took a lot from him.
Yeah.
It sounds to be like he was right. I don't know, but let's hear from you.
I think this is a very sad day for democracy in this country. It's very unfortunate, the event that is unfolding. And I'm very, very disheartened over this event for a number of reasons. It shows, first of all, that the president is the one behind the crisis in Rivers State.
How?
From that statement that Wike made to Fubara, no. If you remember all the points that they placed before Fubara at that meeting were only one-sided. Obviously there was a dispute between two people, okay, and the president stood behind Wike, and that standing behind Wike, blocking Fubara, denying funds to the state.
By Mr. President. You recall that the president summoned a meeting, and I think there was a written agreement they signed at that meeting that they should go back to Rivers and resolve their crisis. We were not there, but they know what the content of those. And
according to Wike, they held that scheme and they started.
So if indeed it was not fortunate, or it was not on the side of Fubara, it should have just let them know from day one at that meeting that this agreement is not favorable to me. I'm not accepting it. This is what I want. And maybe at that point they could have changed the tone of that agreement. But what we learned was that Governor Fubara also signed. But getting back to Rivers, he changed the entire thing, and that's why that troubles continue. I'm not supporting what exactly the FCT minister is doing, because the governor, whether he even assisted him to be the governor of that state, was elected by the mandate of the people of Rivers State, and that goes beyond the support or the vote. Wike only had one vote in that election. Majority of Rivers voted massively for Governor Fubara. But like I said, the way we build personalities, if we have a good structure, good system in place, all these people that are behaving like a thing God will have put them to where they belong.
Now, what I want to say is this, that it's unfortunate that the president of the country can play the kind of card and script that he's playing. And I think that's why a lot of governors are scared now, that they can be muzzled. A democratically elected governor can be muzzled to obey people that did not elect him, to obey people that have no interest of that state at heart. And some people can sit down and plan, conspire to frustrate the governance of a state in this country. To me, both Wike, what the Wike has done, what the president has done, are treasonable. They are treasonable against the interests of the people of Rivers State. It's so obvious now that all this arrangement about state of emergency, we have said it before on this same platform, that it was an arranging, it was a planting. So, and it's unfortunate where apparatus of state, now let me make my point. Right. It's unfortunate where apparatus of state is being used to muzzle the people of a state and the interests of a state. God forbid it that we will get to this kind of situation again in this country, that somebody will sit somewhere and be disrupting the affairs of a state, and all the government apparatus, including the presidency, will be working together to frustrate the governance of a state. I think that is reasonable.
Do you also know
and it's unfortunate that this is happening. And you are now asking the governor to go and beg somebody, a minister, who does not have an immunity somewhere, before they can resolve the crisis, before the government of the state can be released to the people. It's unfortunate that we are having this kind of democracy. This is not a democracy.
Barrister, some politicians have said that the president took that step. And that
whatever reason he has is undemocratic, is illegal, is unconstitutional.
So would you have allowed
whatever reason he has?
Would you have allowed the impeachment to go on?
Which impeachment? Let them impeach the governor. If they
are on the process of impeachment,
let them do so. The governor did not ask for their help. The governor was directed by the Supreme Court to go to the House and present his bill. and present the budget. And he went to that house. They shut the house. They were not there. They were not there. The aftermath of it was that they came together, some people came together and they started talking of impeachment. And when they saw that they cannot get the impeachment through because the CJ of that state didn't want to allow that perfidy to continue, the CJ on his own asked for leave and left the country. And they needed the CJ to be able to impeach him based on the provision of the constitution. That was why they introduced the state of emergency in that river state. And it's unfortunate if the presidency can do this. It shows that we have a banana republic.
All right, Lagos, you can be part of this conversation. Yes, call us on 0903 714 2798. 0903 714 2798 or 0705 690 0927. 0705 690 0927. Unfortunately, we are running out of time. Okay, let's go to the phone lines. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Okay, please call the order lines on 0903 0705 6900 927. 0705 6900 927 or 0802 502 7711. 0802 502 7711 or 0705 6900927. 0705 6900927. This conversations definitely on Fubara and Wike reconciliation. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. What's the name and where are you calling from, please?
My name is Samuel. I'm calling from Yanakwaja.
All right, Samuel from Yanakwaja. Please go ahead quickly. 1 minute.
Okay, your program is okay and it's very fine. I think Nigeria should stop running all this godfather political. They should stop it. Fubara alone, Fubara himself can rule Rivers State since they voted him in. So they should stop all this godfatherism issue in Nigeria. Who is Wike in Nigeria? Who is Wike? He has his own family. Let him go. He has finished his own tenure. Let him go and start ruling over his own family now. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. But with this reconciliation, we'll call it a party right now. Let me come to Mr. Taiwo. Do you think it's a good step in the direction? Are you seeing River State coming back to life? Well, let's pick this call. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, what's the name? Where are you calling from, please?
I'm Mr. Ame from Igondo.
All right, quickly, 1 minute.
The start of this, the issue of this River State. In fact, I'm even waiting to this very day, these very hours. It's a very shameful thing for Mr. President Tinubu to behave in this way. Every person knew that what is happening in River State, Tinubu is the brain behind. Every person, we all knew. It's a very shameful thing for Tinubu to act in this way. Let's watch. The election is coming. If we can make it this time around, I personally respected Tinubu more than any person in Nigeria. I take as a father. But this issue of Fubara, the way he walked into this matter, who is Wike? If not because the train is behind the Wike, Wike cannot even make, he doesn't even have a mouth.
All right, start rounding up.
Fubara will just pass him by the corner. It's a very simple thing. A shameful thing for the president to act in this way.
Right,
we are watching.
We are watching. Thank you very much for that. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning. What's the name and where you calling from?
My name is Ade.
Ade from where?
Yeah, this one that is Ade from Songo.
All right, please, 1 minute.
Please, I want this man to know that you can't be anything in Nigeria. If you are to be the NBA chairman in Nigeria today, is he not somebody that will introduce you? Somebody that will back it, that will tell them, okay, well, this is somebody you can trust. So why not get there in don't start acting, don't blame the president. The president cannot be the country and things are falling apart. I don't know why people are just talking like this.
All right, that's Thank you very much for your point there. I said, don't blame the president. Who do we point the finger to? Yeah. But with this, like I said, with this reconciliation party, quickly because of our time, do you see joy coming to River State?
Well, I'm optimistic that with what has happened, the governor has carried out instruction given to him by the powers that be. He has gone to appeal, to beg, let us put it that way, his benefactor, Minister Wike. So definitely, I see the possibility of immediate return of Governor Fubara. However, if not for the fact that Wike is serving as a minister in the present government, it dare not do what exactly is doing at the moment.
All right, thank you very much. We have to go now. Barrister Dejalale, thank you very much for your time this morning.
Thank you.
Mr. Taiwo, thank you very much for your time this morning. Lagos, we'll do it again on Monday. Have